Why do people like nowadays they do that?
Look at this. It's a Nikon D100. All right, what's going on, you guys? So today we are gonna be going thrifting, but this is not gonna be your typical regular film camera thrift video, folks. Today I'm gonna be revealing my secrets for how to thrift film cameras in 2025. Now, last year in 2024 had to have been my best year of film camera thrifting yet. We thrifted tons of different point and shoot film cameras, and we even thrifted a Rolleiflex and a Leica for under $30 a piece. And if you're trying to get into film photography, one of the best ways to pick up cameras for cheap are through these thrift stores. Now, not all thrift stores are made equal, but if you apply the tips and tricks that I'm gonna be talking about today, I guarantee you that you're gonna have better luck with finding cameras at these thrift stores. All right, proper fit. Turn around. All right, so the plan is we're gonna be hitting a couple of different thrift stores, but I'm also gonna be finishing my sleeve today for my tattoo, so it's gonna be really exciting. But throughout this video, I am going to be revealing essentially my secrets on how I find these film cameras. Starting off with number one. Now, you may have heard me back there say, not all thrift stores are built the same. And the truth is, folks, there are gonna be some thrift stores that are gonna be hot, and there's gonna be some thrift stores that are cold. Now, from my experience, the hot thrift stores are always the ones that are putting new stuff out every single day. And depending on where you are in the country or in the world even, there are chain thrift stores, for example, like Savers, Thrift Village, I believe it is. I think there's a couple of different other chains. If they have multiple locations, chances are it is going to be ran pretty much like any type of corporation. So they are, at the end of the day, a business. As a result, you may not find the best deals in these chain thrift stores. And a lot of times, if they do have cameras on display, they are marked up because they do a lot of research before putting them out to the sales floor. The way I prioritize what thrift stores I try to go and visit is, first, I try to hit up these smaller thrift stores, the mom and pop shops that typically will have random things from like estate sales or maybe even just like secondhand junk from people donating. This is where you're gonna find some of the best deals. After the mom and pop shops, I will hit those chain thrift stores, and then I will try to visit as many of them as I can that are in my area. And that is one of the most important things, choosing which thrift stores to prioritize and trying to get up early in the morning and trying to beat the rush, because I guarantee you, you are not the only one doing this. All right, so that is the first tip, everyone. So let's hit the road. I'm anxious to get out. I haven't been thrifting in a very long time. All right, so one of the first things you can do when going to a thrift store is always first and foremost check the electronics section. Every thrift store will have different sections to the store. They have furniture, they'll have clothing, and then there will always be an electronics section. Typically, you'll find things like keyboards here, and you might also find some really cool goodies as well. But if you are lucky, you might just stumble across a film camera. So the next thing I'll do when I go to these thrift stores is I'm going to start to look at the boutique section. So not every thrift store will have some sort of like glass case where you can view, I guess you could say, like higher valued products and whatnot, but some of them do. And this one does for sure. There's a lot of glass cases and a lot of weird electronics. So I'm going to look through this. I'm just going to try to see what I could find. And this is typically where I find most of the good cameras, just because they know they are of value and they tend to mark the prices up as well. But my camera senses are tingling. Something about this looks really good. It looks like they have a lot of new stuff, maybe new year, new stock. All right, I knew they were tingling. We found the different little camera section right here. This one right here, and then that case right next to it as well, please. Thank you. Look at this. It's a Nikon D100. Got the little handle on it and then the flash. This is like a professional setup, but this is a digital camera. For the sake of this video, I'm gonna pass on this one, save it for someone else to grab. There is also this little case right here. It looks like a point and shoot, and it is a digicam. It's a Sony digicam right here. So pretty cool still. So this is log right now. All right, so before I get blasted with some ink. I forgot to mention one thing about going to thrift stores and looking for film cameras, and that is anytime you come across a camera bag or a camera case, anything that looks remotely close to something that could contain a camera, you definitely want to ask about it and check it out. There were countless times where I found cameras within these camera bags, or, you know, just look for maybe like leather boxes even. A lot of old vintage film cameras come in these weird old leather bags and boxes, and so if you see something similar to that, I would highly recommend you check them out, because a lot of times that is where people keep their cameras. But on top of that, if you want to know whether a thrift store has film cameras or not, one of the easiest telltale signs is to just ask any employee. It doesn't hurt to ask. I'm talking about finding film cameras in a thrift store. Do you have any tips for anybody?
Finding camera in thrift store?
Yeah.
I don't know, patience for sure. Just if you have like at least full day that you're not doing anything, just, you know, go around all the thrift store that you know of. Or yeah, I mean, that's about it. I don't know.
I mean, that's pretty good.
That, yeah, but depends on your luck.
Depends on luck and consistency. Like you said, check as many thrift stores as you can. You want to see what Ash thrifted? Check this out.
So I thrifted this yesterday at like a store.
Alright guys, so we didn't actually find any film cameras yesterday, but that's okay because we're going to be hitting a couple of more thrift stores today. And as we hit up these thrift stores, I'm going to be talking about my biggest and most important tips when it comes to actually finding the cameras for the best possible price. But before we go and do that, folks, I want to give a huge thank you and shout out to the sponsor for this portion of the video, which is the good folks over at Squarespace. Squarespace is your all-in-one platform to build a beautiful online presence and run your business. If you've never built a website before, do not worry. Squarespace features design intelligence, which uses AI technology to help tailor your dream website. You can start from scratch, or you can use one of Squarespace's award-winning templates to get started. You also have the ability to set up your own online store, enabling you to sell prints, merch, or even services all in one place. Lastly, Squarespace Payments allows your clients to pay pretty much whichever way they want, which is not only convenient, but it also builds trust in your brand. So if you want to get started with your own professional website today, head over to squarespace.com/KingJapes and enter promo code KingJapes at checkout, and you guys can get 10% off of your first purchase of a domain or a website. Huge thank you to Squarespace for sponsoring this video. All right, you guys, so let's get out to the thrift stores and let's talk about how to get the best possible deals on film cameras. Ooh, okay. All right, so we're pulling up, and this is the first thing I see. What is that? Is that like an old espresso machine? Here we are. All right, let's see.
Hello.
Hi there.
Haven't seen you in a while.
I know, it's been a while.
Hey.
Going back to the other tip, always look for those camera bags again. I see a couple of different camera bags and what looks like it could be some sort of rangefinder camera. So can I see that silver camera right here on top? Yes, please.
Okay. You know, we had a lot of them. It's been selling like crazy.
Really?
So it's kind of empty right now. They haven't brought anything new yet.
Okay,
You know, after the holiday and all.
All right, little Kodak 35. Check that thing out right there. Whew. Little Lumix camera. What is in this box? It's a sewing machine. I want to talk really quick about one of the most important tips, and that is when some of these thrift stores have sale colors. Now, check this out here. So if you look here closely, there's going to be some type of sale color. Not all thrift stores do this, but some of them will have different colors that are on the tags that correspond to how much % off you're going to get. Now, a lot of times these are pretty much going to be on schedule. So I think this particular thrift store changes every Tuesday, I believe. So it's very important that you pay attention to those sale colors, because a lot of times what people will do is they're going to wait until the product that they want, that they find, goes on sale to a higher tier of % off. For example, let's say, I don't know, let's just grab something off the shelf here. All right, so let's say you want Santa Claus in a tin, and it's gonna cost $1.49 right here. Because orange tag is currently 25% off, the next time they change the colors next week, orange is going to be 50% off. So essentially you're going to get it for $149 with 50% off instead of $25. So a lot of times people will try and go around, maybe store the cameras in certain places, or even just purely wait and hope that no one buys it at that current price. Because a lot of times thrift stores, they charge a lot first and then they allow those discounts to come in, and that's where you get the best deal. So it's all about staying consistent, all about coming in at the right time and making sure you find the right deals according to the sales. Now it sounds complex, I know, and trust me, a lot of times it's not as serious as it seems. Sometimes you come in here, you find a good deal, and you just walk out with a really nice camera. But I can almost guarantee you that there are people out there who strategically visit these thrift stores early in the morning, and they wait for the deals and they plan accordingly so that they get the best possible cameras at the best possible prices. Spot's so low key. Nobody's in this parking lot except for me. Look at this. Are you kidding me? All right, so this was never really one of those stores that carried a ton of film cameras, but check this out. Crazy thing is too, some of them have cases. Man, some good stuff. Oh yeah, can I just see this one right here, please? Thank you. That's mine. I'm just recording a little vlog for myself.
How are you? Fine, sir. How are you today? Good. Yeah, just leave it here. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you so much. All right, so this is the perfect example of how you need to check the cameras before you even try to purchase them. Because a lot of times these thrift stores, they're gonna have them and they're gonna put them out and they don't do any research on it. And typically they end up being broken. So it's very important when you're looking for film cameras, check the battery compartment, check to see if the shutter is firing. You want to check the light seals as well. And all of these little small details, you need to look at the lens for fungus, shine your flashlight on your phone, try to see if there's anything inside of that lens element. If there's anything wrong with it, you definitely don't want to pick it up. And typically their stores will reflect the price to it, but when you go to these mom and pop shops, they don't always often know how to check the cameras. But those are just some of the things that you want to look for when you are trying to, shop for film cameras essentially. Now they did have a few cameras. There was like a Minolta Highmatic as well as a Canon AF35M, but I think for the most part, they were both sort of broken in one way. The AF35M just was completely shy. It looked like it was inside of an aquarium. And then the Highmatic Minolta, it was just missing the rewind knob, and everything else seemed to kind of fire off. The rangefinder was aligned and it was about 30 bucks, but I think without that rewind lever, it would be a camera that is hard to repair with spare parts and whatnot. So I'm gonna pass on that for the meantime, and we're gonna head over to the next spot. Honestly, it does not look promising. Check this out. We have a small little Walgreens, what do you call these again? Disposable cameras. But it doesn't really look too camera-y. Typically, you'll know if there's cameras around if you see like an old flash, or maybe even like a point and shoot bag, anything that resembles some type of camera gear, you'll see that laying around. And right now, just off of first glance, I'm seeing tripods, but that doesn't always mean cameras. All right, so I did find something camera related, and it's this little battery pack for a camera. And it's saying it's for a 60D, but one thing you have to understand too when you go to these thrift stores is that you're not going to be the only one looking for it. And like you mentioned, people go out in the mornings and they try to get these stuff early on. Now, as a result, I noticed that if you typically see any open packaging like this, or if you see cameras that typically would be in a certain section spread out around, it means somebody has already come and probably looked through everything and purchased everything that was good. So in this situation, I'm gonna put this back, and this is a telltale sign that I shouldn't waste my time here. I gotta get on to the next spot. And this was super easy for me to tell because of this thing right here, and also a little camera bag that was slightly opened up right here. So, there's little hints that people leave as they go through these thrift stores to look for these cameras, and it's very easy to tell whether or not if you're gonna find anything in that store. All right, and now for a couple of closing thoughts and sort of my last and final tip. All right, so one of the things that film camera thrifting really is all about is trying to look everywhere that you typically wouldn't expect their camera to be. And the thing is, you guys, a lot of times thrift stores aren't always gonna have film cameras. And so one of my final and favorite tips to share with anybody that asks me about how to thrift film cameras, you check out some of the more odd places, such as garage sales, flea markets, estate sales, you know, even Facebook Marketplace even. There are tons of deals to be had. And the thing is, you know, when I make these thrift videos, yeah, they are called film camera thrifting, but sort of just an umbrella statement saying that, hey, we're gonna be looking for film cameras. Yeah, I'm gonna go to some thrift stores, but I'm also going to hit the flea markets. I'm going to look on Facebook Marketplace. I've gotten tons of crazy deals on there as well. And the truth is, the more you look, the more you're gonna find. But you also need to assume the risk that these cameras aren't going to work properly. And you know, just keep in mind, a lot of them are gonna be more than 20, 30 years old. So you need to understand that not everything you purchase is going to work. But if you know what to look for and you know how to do some of the basic tests, like, checking if the shutter speeds are also correct or if there's any fungus in the lens, you're gonna have a much higher percentage of keepers than stuff that are just complete junk. Now, unfortunately, in this episode, we did not find any film cameras whatsoever. It was a pretty dry week. There's this misconception online that I find film cameras everywhere I go. And the truth of the matter is, folks, what you guys see online are typically just my highlights. This is when I go out and I do find stuff. But what you don't see is when I go in and I don't find anything for weeks, for months. What the last thrift episode I did was, I wanna say like 3 or 4 months ago even. And since then, I haven't really found anything. So it kind of goes to show that, there's gonna be times where you can find cameras and there's gonna be times where you don't. And it's all just about being consistent. That's all it is. Consistency is key. But that is essentially all of my tips and tricks and secrets revealed for film camera thrifting. If you guys have anything else to add, maybe some general questions or even just some other tips to help other people out, leave those in the comment section down below. But otherwise, I hope you enjoyed it. But thank you guys for watching till the very end. If you haven't subscribed already, subscribe down below for more film photography content. But I'll see you guys in the next one. As always, Minolta Gang.